and Instagram, the ghost of misusing Facebook, the ghost of being too opinionated, the ghost of castigating things simply because you don't like them, the ghost of one.
Kaieteur Radio, keeping you informed.
Demerara and Essequibo 99.1 FM.
Berbice 99.5 FM. Kaieteur Radio. This is the news on top of the hour.
Live from our studio in Georgetown.
Kaieteur Radio 99.1 FM.
Good day, my name is Amrita Koshal and this is your main newscast. In the headlines, Speaker weakens opposition's motion on full coverage insurance. ECHO grabs up remaining GHI shares in Kanji block ahead of Exxon's 12-well campaign drilling, and closed Gaisuku sugar estates will be difficult to reopen, says economist. GDF rank killed during brawl at sister's wedding, and MOE ice factory staffers implicated in fuel theft. Meanwhile, legal challenge to NRF Act should be dealt with expediency, says Christopher Ram. Stay tuned for more details.
Enjoy access to premium sports for free from March 14 to 20 on Sportsmax. Watch the final leg of Champions League round of 16. See who scores the most points to advance to the NBA playoffs. Action right at your fingertips. Plus 2 gigabytes of Sportsmax data every day to stream S-Max 1, S-Max 2, and the NBA TV channels. Not just watching, but loving the best sporting experience. Sportsmax, simply more sports.
And now for your news in detail. Several clauses in the opposition's motion on full coverage insurance submitted to the National Assembly have been subjected to changes by Speaker Manzoor Nadir, while most have been removed altogether. It was Shadow Oil and Gas Minister David Patterson who had submitted the motion seeking full coverage insurance of Guyana's oil activities to Parliament on February 16th. The Speaker, in a written response to the MP, informed that 13 of the 20 clauses in Patterson's motion have been disallowed, while 2 of the whereas clauses were also amended. On the other hand, the Speaker also suggested that Patterson reword one of his clauses as the information included was inaccurate. The removal of these clauses means that they will not be debated in the National Assembly. With regard to the clauses amended by the Speaker, it is understood that the 6th and 7th clauses have been adjusted, although the Speaker said it was the 5th and 6th clauses. And moving on, the slothfulness of the APNU-AFC opposition to challenge the legality of the Natural Resource Fund Act can lead to irreversible losses and consequences. This is according to Chartered Accountant and Attorney-at-Law Christopher Ram. Ram agreed that the matter should be handled with expediency. The parliamentary opposition has been mulling legal action over the NRF Act, which the PPPC forcefully passed through Parliament without proper consultation last December. Back then, it was noted that the government rushed to pass the law after it removed several safeguards that allowed for transparency and placed the management of the oil fund largely under the control of the president and the Minister of Finance. Under the new law, the president and finance minister and others are vested with sweeping powers to appoint members to sit on the NRF board. And moving on, Eco Atlantic Oil and Gas Limited has been a junior player in Guyana's oil basin since 2016. Its main asset since its entry into the nation's oil and gas industry has been the Orinduik block. In 2021, Eco initiated a series of small share purchases amounting to almost 7% in GHI Associates Inc., which is one of the original license holders for the Kanji block. In a most ambitious play to raise its stakes in the Guyana Basin, on Monday, Eco disclosed to the market that it took a bold step with the acquisition of the remaining shares in GHI, thereby giving it full ownership of the company and its 17.5% working interest in the Kanji block. It is important to note that the move by Eco follows an application by EEPGL to the EPA to drill 12 wells in the block starting this year. That application is still under consideration. And we now tell you, just months away from its 2-year milestone in office, the government is yet to reopen sugar estates closed by the former APNU-AFC administration. It was one of the key points on the party's 2020 elections manifesto, but economist and former presidential advisor Ramon Gaskin believes that it is a promise the government will be unable to keep. Gaskin, in an invited comment, said that the entire industry is in a dire state, something that the government is fully aware of. He believes that while the government would indeed like to reopen the estates, they will instead find other uses for the assets, as the life of sugar in Guyana remains a question of viability. Gaskin said that Gaisuku's previous problems, in particular cost of production, which led to the closure of some estates in the first place, still very much exists and continues to be a significant hindrance to turning the facility around. And we now tell you, under the APNU-AFC government, staffers from the Ministry of Education and the Demerara Ice Factory found themselves in hot water over the sale of stolen fuel. The situation, which occurred in December 2017, was brought up for discussion before the Parliamentary Public Accounts Committee on Monday. According to the report, the fuel was uplifted on 30 instances. As a result, on average, in excess of one 45-gallon drum was uplifted on each occasion. Based on the report, 6 vehicles not registered as property of the ministry were used to uplift 4,351 liters of diesel, valued $788,773 from the Gaioil Regent Street location. A police investigation later found that hundreds of thousands of dollars in stolen fuel from the Ministry of Education was reportedly sold to the Demerara Ice Factory, allegedly with the full knowledge of the company's manager at the time. And we now return with more news in detail. What was supposed to be a night of celebration ended tragically for the family of Chavez Mangle, a GDF corporal, after he was reportedly stabbed to death during a brawl at his sister's wedding on Sunday night. The fatal stabbing, which ended the life of the 30-year-old GDF medics, occurred at Phase 2 Good Hope, East Coast Demerara, and was perpetrated by a group of uninvited guests. One of the dead man's sisters said that while everyone was enjoying themselves, there was this group of young men who were picking trouble with some girls on the dance floor. She shared that the young men are from around the neighborhood, but they were never invited to the wedding. Meanwhile, it was reported that one of the suspects was arrested about 5 houses away from where the incident occurred. According to reports, he was searched and ranks found 2 knives and a pair of scissors in his pants waist. The suspect had visible injuries to his forehead, left hand, and body. The time has now moved on to 12 hours 8. We will return with more news for you shortly after the break.
This is GHK Lal, inviting you to join me weekdays from Monday to Friday on the National Outlook for commentary on a range of issues. Immediately after the 12 noon and 7 p.m. newscasts on Kaieteur Radio at 99.1 FM and 99.5 FM. Looking forward to you sharing in the conversation.
And we now return with more news in detail. Police in Berbice have arrested 2 persons in connection with the brutal chopping to death of 24-year-old Alex Williams of Rampasad Street, number 2 Village, East Kanji, Berbice. We were informed that the 2 persons were arrested on Sunday, but are reportedly not the perpetrators. They are, however, assisting detectives with their investigation, even as the prime suspect is still at large. On Sunday at approximately 12 hours 30, Williams got involved in a brawl in front of a rum shop at number 2 Village, East Kanji, Berbice, that resulted in his death. A full Guinness bottle was hurled at his face, which caused him injuries, and shortly after, another man armed himself with a stainless steel cutlass and chopped him several times about his body. And moving on, a man was charged on Monday with manslaughter for killing his brother, Moses Anthony, with a piece of broken tile during a brawl at their home, which is located at 3rd Street, Albertown, Georgetown. The incident occurred last Thursday. According to reports, Anthony reportedly killed his younger brother, Moses, a baker, around 21 hours. The defendant, Richard Anthony, was not required to plead to the indictable charge and was remanded to prison until March 28, 2022. Moses had reportedly arrived home drunk and started an argument with his brother over an old grievance which they had. During a fight, Anthony found a piece of broken tile and stabbed Moses to his neck. And in other stories, Minister of Legal Affairs and Attorney General Anil Nanlal announced on Monday that the country's COVID-19 restrictions will be removed. However, he maintained that citizens should still abide by guidelines to protect themselves. And we now move on to your COVID-19 update. The Health Ministry reported that a 75-year-old man from Region 4 died from the virus, while it recorded 3 new infections, taking the total number of confirmed cases to 63,147. 5 patients are in the ICU, 13 in institutional isolation, 6 are quarantined institutionally, and 132 in home isolation. To date, a total of 61,722 persons have recovered. And we now move on to your page 7 of the Kaieteur News, dedicated to being blunt. Taking guns off the street won't save the grand theft of Guyanese wealth. The Guyana Police Force recently celebrated the fact that another gun was taken off the streets. The GPF is of the belief that another gun off the street means crime is on the decline. But we at this publication, and many Guyanese too, know that this could not be farther from the truth. Just yesterday, a woman standing in front of a city store was captured on camera trying to wrestle off a thief who succeeded in stealing her cell phone. One less gun off the streets did not prevent this crime from happening, and many more will occur. The leaders of this land too are busy celebrating that we have an abundance of natural resources, while international gangsters are busy fetching away our God-given wealth. And with that, we've come to the end of your main newscast. My name is Amrita Koshal, and you are listening to Kaieteur Radio.
Want value for your advertising dollar? Then place your ads on Kaieteur Radio's newscasts. Streamed live on 6 different mediums, reaching hundreds of thousands. Advertise today and watch your dollar grow. Call us on 225-8465 or 226-8210 today.